Bluff City Media presents the $2 Sports Show. Stepping up to the microphone are your hosts, Drew Gann and Rusty Witten. Now, let's get to the show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to your Thursday edition of the $2 Sports Show, live on your lunch break, just like we are every week. I got my guy, Drew Gann, a.k.a. Uncle Buck, here with me. Uncle Buck, how's your Thursday going?
Oh, it's a beautiful day in paradise. It is the sun is shining bright. It is warm. It is not wet for the first time in what feels like forever. All things are good here. Got staring down the barrel of a long weekend, an exciting weekend. I'll fill everybody in our last segment. But yeah, everything's great. How's East Memphis?
Yeah, it's good, man. Everything's good over here. It's a beautiful day. Been out and about. Got a few more things to do this afternoon before some exciting stuff this weekend as well. So we'll get to more of that here at the end. A little foreshadowing there, I guess. But we got a lot to talk about today. You know, on Thursday, we always start with our real versus counterfeit, letting you know what we think is real in the sports world or not, and what's counterfeit. So we'll get right at it.
All right, Buckets. Like you said, it's Thursday. Our favorite segment that we do on Thursday is our first one, where we talk takes. Rusty gives me a take. I say whether it's real or counterfeit. This segment is brought to you by Bluff City Media. We are the $2 Sports Show. We are live on YouTube right now on the Bluff City Media's YouTube page, also on the X page at this point. I would like to cordially invite everybody that's watching on X to jump on over here to YouTube. The comments are always popping here on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. So come hang out with us. We'll throw your name up on the screen. If you got any good ideas, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But it's Thursday. Give me a take, Rusty.
All right. So the PED games are the games that we didn't know we needed. Real or counterfeit?
Yeah. So for those that don't know what we're talking about, apparently there's a new Olympics coming out in which you can use not illegal substances, but substances that are banned by the Olympic Committee.
Just performance-enhancing drugs, not necessarily illegal, just PEDs.
And I take exception to one thing you said. It's like, we didn't know we needed. I've been saying this forever. Bring back steroids in baseball, okay? So, yes, this is absolutely real. And you're telling me, like, if there's one thing that Russia does well, it's doping athletes.
Yeah.
And I hate to see Russia do good at anything. And in America, we have a drug problem. We realize this, okay? Watch the news.
Let's take advantage of it.
Let's do what we do best, folks. Take some drugs and hit some baseballs, okay? Yep. Let's dominate the PED games.
Yeah. I mean, what's up, D'Angelo? Thanks for hanging out with us here. Again, as Uncle Buck said earlier, come on over to YouTube, hang out with us there. But basically what's going to happen is there's a company that's going to take a controlled select group of athletes they're going to furnish all their healthcare, all their PEDs, all their training supplies, get them all doped up. Athletes can also apply to be independently enhanced, and natural athletes who are not taking any PEDs can compete. Drew, this is going to be the closest thing we will ever see to like an Olympian and a regular human. Because if you've got some juiced up Johnnies out there running these races and lifting these weights and doing these things, and then there's just some regular athletes out there, I feel like we're going to finally get to see like a pros versus Joes in a real sanctioned competition.
Yeah, well, I think they should just merge all this together. I've been saying forever, like, throw one schmuck out there that thinks he can run fast in the regular Olympics, and just to show the difference in classes when it comes to, like, speed between an Olympic athlete and somebody who thinks, like, college track fast, you know?
Yeah.
So let's just merge all these together. And you can put asterisks or whatever, but I want to see a podium that has a doped athlete, a regular Olympic athlete, and a schmuck.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
Yeah. And so what we'll get a small taste of it in May of 2026. These scheduled events, there's 8 of them. There's 4 swimming events, the 50, 100 meter, both freestyle and butterfly. There's a 100-meter sprint and then a 100, 110-meter hurdle and track. And then weightlifting, both the snatch and clean and jerk. And that's where it's going to get fun. They're going to lift an entire like school bus is what's going to happen. Like, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you used to watch those old World's Strongest Man competitions. Used to be on ESPN. Those dudes were absolutely doping.
Yeah.
And that would be amazing. See that in an Olympic style clean and snatch.
So great.
Or whatever you call it.
Snatch and clean and jerk. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait to watch that as a weightlifting aficionado. That's going to be amazing to see.
Hey, and it's already there. Michael Phelps has already got busted with the pot. So let's get him out of retirement. Put him up with some horse steroids and just see what the actual greatest swimmer of all time looks like.
Would truly look like.
40 years old and PEDs.
Yeah.
Same goes for you, Usain Bolt. Like, bring it back. See if a 40-year-old Usain Bolt on horse steroids can beat that American that won the 100 last year. What was his name?
Noah Lyles. Noah
Lyles. Noah Lyles versus a doped up Usain Bolt. Give it to me.
Listen, I'm here for it. I hope we get that. Their gymnastics and combat sports are on the table. They tabled them for future games, but 8 events to start. And it's going to be good ones you can truly see what PEDs can do. I think we need to have a home run derby at some point. Like you said, bring back some baseball. I mean, there's so many things you can do with this.
Can you imagine Simone Biles on PEDs?
She's going to jump 30 feet.
Oh my, it's going to look like a superhero, like an actual superhero.
She's going to hit 10 flips on the pommel horse for the first time in registered history. It's going to be like those old Powerade commercials where the players were like, throw it out of the stadium, but like it's really going to happen.
Right.
So my next one is a little bit basketball related. We got plenty of NBA conference finals talk coming up later in the show. But Joe, I want to ask you, has there been a team that has fumbled harder than the Sacramento Kings? Right? Hear me out just for a second. It's kind of a big, but you got the Kings. They drafted De'Aaron Fox. He was going to be their superstar point guard, and he kind of stumbled out of the gate a little bit, right? Like he was good, but he wasn't great when he started. So then they drafted Tyrese Haliburton to come in and be the next guy, be that next superstar. Well, De'Aaron Fox turns it around, has 2 clutch seasons, picks it up, and becomes that superstar. So they trade Hallie to the Pacers, only for De'Aaron Fox to walk, and now the Kings are running back as a washed-up Chicago Bulls West Coast team. So I ask you again, has there been a harder fumble recently than the Sacramento Kings, real or counterfeit?
Counterfeit. We just watched the Dallas Mavericks trade away Luka Doncic. Now, we can't have revisionist history. Now, we can't see like, oh, well, they got the number 1 pick. Like, yeah, they did happen to get the number 1 pick. But you traded away Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis.
Yeah, they got the number 1 pick, all right. But you got Tyrese Haliburton, now the most clutch dude in the playoffs. Again, more of that to come. You had De'Aaron Fox, both of these guys on the same team, and now you got none of them. And you're running it out with an old DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Jonas Valanciunas, and who knows where Sabonis is going to go next year because I don't know that he's going to hang out.
LaRavia, cornerstone. I've been telling you this forever. Jake LaRavia is the cornerstone of the Sacramento Kings.
You know what? Just for that, we're going to move on to our next segment. But before we do, I do need to talk to you about Ounce of Hope. Ounce of Hope is Bluff City Media's official dispensary partner here in Memphis. They are locally produced, locally owned, and they have 2 local storefronts right here in Memphis to serve all of your needs, whether that's mushrooms or it's products or it's edibles, or my personal favorite, their seltzer line. They've got flavors like Cherry Jane, Berry High. The Peach Buds is my favorite, though. I tried Cherry Jane this week for the first time, and it's phenomenal. It might be one of my new favorites. Again, 2 storefronts here in Memphis at 5101 Sanderlin Avenue, Unit 114 in the Sanderlin Center here in East Memphis, or in the Cooper Young neighborhood at 553 South Cooper Street today. If you're looking for a hangover-free alternative to relax on the weekends, maybe at a cookout at a lower calorie point, again, those seltzers are hard to beat at only 34 calories. Check them out at Sanderlin Avenue in the Sanderlin Center, excuse me, or in the Cooper Young neighborhood at 553 South Cooper Street today. Again, you can use the code Bluff City, all one word, all caps, for 15% off your first online order today at ounceofhope.com, the website you see here on the bottom of the screen. This cannot be combined with any other offers. Some exclusions apply. Limit 1 per customer, but your first order, 15% off with the code Bluff City. So with that, we're going to talk a little football now. Got to bring my co-host back up here if he's going to help me talk about this. But we do have some football talk. I know we're in the throes.
What a bumper.
I know, right? Just made that this morning. We're in the throes of the NBA Western Conference Finals. But, Drew, we have some football news to talk about that came out this week. And we're going to go back to an old school $2 sports show thing, right? Before we became your lunchtime show here on Bluff City, we were a syndicated weekly podcast that filmed on Skype that had dozens of listeners, right? Yes. And we used to do drafts. So, Drew, I'm setting it up a little bit. Tell us what we're going to draft today.
Yeah, so along with the PED Olympics, also in the normal person Olympics, the regular Olympics, the NFL has decided to allow current NFL players to participate in flag football, an Olympic event, right? Flag football.
Yeah.
And so I had the idea. Like you said, we used to do drafts all the time. Still probably will do them after these playoffs are over. We have fewer things to talk about. We're going to draft a flag football team from the NFL rosters. Just that simple. We're going to do a quarterback, 2 receivers, 2 running backs, a tight end, and a defensive player. Just like your fantasy football teams would, except we don't do defense. So that's what we're going to do. So, Rusty, I'll let you go first.
I was going to say, let's for our fans at home, we'll keep it from cheating. I'm going to have you close your eyes. I'm going to hold up a number. You're going to tell me if it's even or odd. If you get it right, yeah, exactly. If you get it right, I said no cheating. If you get it right, you get the first pick. All right?
Bluff City Media.
Even or odd?
Let's go odd.
It's 3. You got it. So you got the first pick.
Oh, yes. I was going to say, because I saw I've been watching something on Amazon. They've got a trailer for a new Dale Earnhardt documentary. And so I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, yes, sir. Yeah. A big 3. Hold up the 3.
You got it.
So there's lots of ways you can think about this. We're doing 2 receivers, 2 running backs, a tight end, a quarterback, and a defensive player. Yeah, so there's only one of these position groups in which I feel like tier 1 stands far and above beyond what anything else I could get. More options for other positions than in this one position group, and it's quarterback. And I'm typically a hater, but this is flag football, okay? I'm taking Lamar Jackson 101. Yeah. There is no other quarterback that you can make an argument for other than Lamar Jackson. Until you pass Lamar, I can't even hear an argument for a better flag football player.
Yeah, I mean, Lamar Jackson is one of one, but we're getting more and more mobile quarterbacks. I see D'Angelo throwing up Jaden Daniels. I think that's a great pick. And I'm going to steal it. I'm going to go Jaden Daniels simply because I was leaning towards Jalen Hurts, but in his 1 year, Jaden Daniels tells me he has a much better arm. So I'm going to take my quarterback now and take Jaden Daniels.
That is stupid because I couldn't even take another quarterback. I'm not even
getting out of the way. Listen, I was going in order, but I guess we're going to do it like all over the board. That's fine. All right, you up next.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to all right, I've got less running backs on my depth chart here to choose from than wide receivers. So I'm going to take the guy that just set the world on fire with the best missed tackle ever last season. And it's Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley. It's a phenomenal pick. I mean, guy is a menace in the open field, just an absolute devastating running back. All right, for me, I'm going to go receiver here, and I think there's an obvious choice here. He's one of the quickest, one of the best pass route runners. Say that 5 times fast. And that is one Tyreek Hill. Like, good luck, some dude from Germany keeping up with Tyreek Hill on an in and out or a curl and go or just a straight fade. Give me Tyreek Hill as my first receiver.
He was my first receiver that came to mind as well. You're talking about just absolutely take the roof off with speed. I'll go receiver here as well because I feel like there's a lot of good options, and I think of this in a lot of different ways. I'm going to try to build my team with a deep threat and an intermediate guy. So the deep threat guy is arguably the best receiver in the league. I'm going to take Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
Take Jay Jettis. That's going to be my pick for wide receiver.
All right. So I kind of got the world as my oyster here. Do I go with another receiver? Do I go with a running back? I'm going to go receiver. I think there's a lot of options out there at running back that we can still work through. I'm going to go receiver. I've got a quick route runner. I've got a speed threat here. I like the Jamar Chase idea. I think I'm going to stay with LSU, but I'm going to go a little bit different. I like Malik Neighbors a whole lot from the Giants. And so he's tall, he's fast, he's a great red zone threat. I'm going Malik Neighbors as my wide receiver too.
You know what else he is? It's supremely inferior to Jamar Chase. What are you talking about?
I'm going a little different. I'm going a little different.
Went for like 2,000 yards receiving last year. Did you play fantasy football?
I did. I
know McCaffrey was good. I mean, not McCaffrey. I'm reading the comments. I know Neighbors was good as a rookie, but
yeah, I'm sticking with a rookie. I got a couple young guys on here. Maybe I'm going with some youth. I'm going Malik Neighbors.
All right. Listen, went extremely well for me. So I'd never thought that that Jamar Chase would fall. So I'll take Jamar Chase. I sorely thought that he was not going to make it this far.
Yeah. Let's see. Where am I going to go next? I got to get a running back. Excuse me. So looking at my chart here, see who I've got. I'm going to go. I want to get some speed. Again, fantasy football or flag football is all about speed, shiftiness in the open field, guys that can get away, not necessarily bruising running backs. I'm going to go Jamar Gibbs of the Detroit Lions. Again, shifty in open space, can't really keep up with him. Again, good luck to the accountant in France covering him out of the backfield on a bubble route.
Yeah, he was going to be my next pick because I think he led all NFL in missed tackles last year. Mm-hmm. But I will take the original Jamar Gibbs. Okay. Are you talking about a guy that can make anybody miss in a phone book? Got the top end speed, is probably the best pass catching running back in football. All he needs is a quarterback. And unfortunately, my New Orleans Saints never have one.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I'm going to take Alvin Kamara.
Well, this worked out really well for me because I'm going to take my next running back. That's Christian McCaffrey, CMC. If he can stay healthy, that Achilles stays healthy. Again, guys who make you miss in a phone book, he's one of us. He's a fast running back, relatively durable, a great pass-catching option. Christian McCaffrey.
All right. So we've both got a tight end and a defender left.
Yeah.
Am I right about that?
You are. Yep. Tight end and pass rushers, all we got left.
Tight end, I don't really know what I'm really wanting out of a tight end. But again, I'm just thinking speed. I'm thinking like we're airing the ball out. Lamar Jackson's my quarterback. If there's one thing he does well, he just throws it up. And so I did not think about NFL padded football success at all when I made this selection. Yeah. I thought straight prototype. And if there's one tight end that every year I kind of talk myself into taking in fantasy, and it just never pays off, I'm doing it again. I'm taking.
I could have written this down at the beginning.
Kyle Pitts. You're talking 6'5" runner who just can run and jump, and I think he can catch the football. I'm gonna let him be a big target for Lamar Jackson.
Drew is that guy in your fantasy league, D'Angelo, and everybody else watching that always is going to take that dude that everybody's like, he's super hyped, hype is way up here. Production is down here. He's going to take Kyle Pitts every single year. So again, much like in the receiver realm, like for me, this worked out super well because I'm going to take the consensus #1 overall fantasy football tight end. He had an excellent back half of the year last year, and that is Brock Bowers. He's got a hairline like us, but he's an incredible receiving threat at tight end. Give me Brock Bowers.
Yeah, he was the only other one I had on my list as well.
Yeah.
When it's just two of us, I knew that I was going to get one or the other. So, I'm all about explosive here. Yeah. I've got Lamar Jackson, explosive. Saquon Barkley, explosive. Kamara, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and Kyle Pitts. And I've got a defender left to take. Yeah. And I know a lot of people, D'Angelo in the comments says Myles Garrett. It's a great pick. It's a great pick. Although I'm not worried about Jaden Daniels getting away from anybody. So I want a pass defender. I want somebody that I can put on, Tyreek or Neighbors or Bowers. And Pro Football Focus, highest rated cornerback in 2024-2025 season is the guy I took. He was a Super Bowl standout, had a pick 6 in the Super Bowl, And Rusty, he's one of us. He is Cooper DeJean.
Jeez.
Hey, I wanted to do it in fun, like I wanted to be funny and take him, and then I realized Pro Football Focus has him as the best corner in the NFL last year.
He had a pick six in the Super Bowl. Like, I mean, the guy play. Yeah, he's a player, man. So for me, I'm going more of a guy who can spy on Lamar Jackson, keep him corralled, and what better than as a pass rusher than a former running back in his early days, transitions to outside linebacker and defensive end. Wears the sticks for the Dallas Cowboys. One Micah Parsons is my defender. One of the best pass rushers in the world, and can absolutely, I think he can be that spy and contain Lamar Jackson if our two teams were to play.
Good luck. My team just dominated. My goodness. If I could get this fantasy football team like next year in the League of Avengers draft, this is domination, man. I'm the first overall pick in League of Avengers, and I'm just going to pick all of my guys for next year. I'm going to get Jaden Daniels, Jamar Gibbs, Christian McCaffrey, Tyreek, Malik Neighbors, Brock Bowers. The number one pick doesn't mean you pick your team first.
That's what I'm going to do, though. I'm picking them all. I'm going to walk up to that board and just have a sheet that I'm just going to pick them all, and y'all can suck it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you're out. As the commissioner, you would be banned from the draft. So, hope you enjoyed it.
Well, I'm going to put these up. Y'all let us know what y'all think. Whose team is the better? I'm going to put these on our socials. You see it below at $2_BCM on Instagram, on X. Y'all, we're going to put these polls up this afternoon. Y'all vote as to whose team.
Hey, keep in mind, it's flag football.
It's flag.
Kyle Pitts is not
flag.
I projected Kyle Pitts to be a big flag football guy. Okay.
He's already backpedaling the Kyle Pitts pick, and he hadn't even put the flags on yet.
No, I'm just saying, this is not the NFL. Don't downgrade Kyle Pitts. Think, broaden your horizons. Think bigger than what Rusty can think right now. Okay. This is
and D'Angelo's in the comments is not bad either. Jaden Daniels, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Christian McCaffrey, Travis Kelce, and Myles Garrett would also be a formidable flag football team. So D'Angelo, thanks for hanging with us.
His problem is that, he kind of went out of turn. He just picked the best of both of our players. Like, they're ours.
That's fair.
Like, what are you talking about?
Well, hey, we've talked football. We've talked PEDs. Drew, we had some chaos in Madison Square Garden last night. We have got to get to basketball.
Right, Rusty, basketball time. We are the Two Bucks. We are on Bluff City Media's YouTube page right now. It's our normal Thursday show. We're on every single Tuesday and Thursday at noon for the time being.
Foreshadowing. Dun, dun, dun. So we've got basketball. That's all we're going to say for now. We got more announcements coming. We're going to launch that out next week. Y'all hang with us. It's going to be some exciting things coming from the Two Bucks. So last night, Drew, we had a thriller, an overtime thriller. I laid down to go to bed right about the time Hallie hits the choke. I see it on my phone, and I'm like, crap. So I have to watch the overtime at that point because it's just like, my goodness. He had the Kevin Durant special, right, where he hits the three to win the game, only to find out he was one shoe size too big, and we go to overtime. Like, this Pacers team is a ton of fun to watch. You had Nesmith with 30 points. He made 5 threes in the fourth quarter alone. Like,
stupid.
It
was so stupid. Right?
It was. Like, it was goofy. But it was a thriller of a basketball game.
The Grizzlies season had so much angst, and I was just relieved when it was like mercy killed in the first round by the Oklahoma City Thunder. I was like, good. I can enjoy basketball now. And no team has brought me more joy this postseason than the Indiana Pacers. Of all teams, Tyrese Haliburton, Obi Toppin has brought me just electricity into the NBA season for me. It's been absolutely amazing. For the second time in a week, Tyrese Haliburton has gotten me and my son doing laps around the house. I was doing the choke sign before Haliburton was. I lost it. It was amazing.
He does the choke sign. He points at Reggie Miller on the broadcast. Like, it's just like, it's only like, you can't even script it in a movie better than that. Drew, there have been 1,706 times that a team has trailed by 7 or more points in the last 50 seconds of a game or overtime. Those teams are 4 and 1702, 4 and 1,702. 3 of those wins are by the Pacers this year. This might be the most clutch basketball. Yeah, this might be the most clutch basketball team of all time.
This is like the only thing I can compare it to was that 2013 Auburn Tigers team where they had the prayer at Jordan Hare, where Nick Marshall had the tipped Hail Mary that was caught and scored, and then go to the Iron Bowl and you've got the infamous kick six, and by the grace of God, like how in the world God could be an Auburn fan, I don't know, but I saw it in 2013, and to get them to the national championship game only to be, the lucky rabbit's foot not to work against Jameis Winston, who
eating it up.
We all know has God on his side. But I think God switched allegiances here, because what Indiana does, I mean, can you imagine? I just talked about how miserable the Grizzlies season was for fans this year. Can you imagine what it's like in the head that you've got on you if you're an Indiana Pacers fan right now? Like, you can't be talked into nothing. Like,
you can't tell me
you'll never
nothing.
lose. Like, what is insurmountable if you are the Indiana Panthers?
I mean, they were down 17 last night at the beginning of the fourth quarter. Like, or down 20 going into the fourth quarter. And they still find a way. Like I said this more on the Daily Grind. Like, you've got to bury this team. You cannot take your foot off the gas until that fourth quarter says all zeros, because right now, this team is the most dangerous of the four. Yes, Oklahoma City is miles better than any of these other teams, but the most dangerous is this Pacers team, because they believe, like you just said, the confidence, the swagger that they're playing with right now. Like, there's not a single moment that's been too big for them or a game that they've been out of. And so I'm like you, man. Like, I didn't know I liked the Pacers so much, but I'm all in on the Pacers right now with the way that they're playing.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a believer in what was the word? It just escaped me. But like, I'm not a superstitious guy when it comes to sports. However, I do believe that in belief, I think Ted Lasso said that. I believe in belief,
Yeah, he just pointed
and whatever reasoning behind your belief is, then it's true. If you think, if you're a baseball team, you think, oh, these jerseys are lucky. In 2022, don't let the Rebs get hot happen to a team that was not good, and they believed that those navy blue T-shirt jerseys that they wore were the reason why they won. And I don't believe it had anything to do with the navy blue jerseys, but they believed, because so the belief is what continues to like make this snowball roll downhill. The Indiana Pacers, for whatever reason, just believe that nothing is impossible for them. And if you truly believe that, it rubs off on your players, your fans, and it also enters in the back of your opponent's mind.
That's it.
Knicks missed 2 costly free throws. They tried to throw the ball away in regulation. It's wild to see what these teams are doing when Indiana just refuses to give up. It results in the other team just throwing up all over themselves.
Yeah, I mean, you saw they were down. Indiana had gotten it to within 5. It was 123-119, and they pan over, and OG and Cat and Josh Hart are going at it on the bench. Like, they're yelling. They're clearly upset at each other about something. Right. And that's what you do. You plant those seeds, right? That doubt starts creeping in. Like, we were up 20, and this is that same team that if Hallie gets the ball with 3 seconds to go, we're cooked. And so that just starts festering. Also, it couldn't happen to a better team, Drew, because I saw something in that game yesterday that I have never seen in my entire sports watching life. And it was Jalen Brunson dribbling up the court. Neesmith reaches in for a steal, only for Brunson to grab his arm and then hit himself in the face with it, trying to draw a foul that turns into an offensive foul. The refs smartly no-called it. Thank you. Hopefully this is a sign of things to come to tonight. But no call, only for Neesmith to get down there and draw an offensive foul on Jalen Brunson when he bumps into him in what was a straight up like Looney Tunes type sequence. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Did you see that happen?
I didn't. I was not watching at that time, but I did see that, you could tell a lot about reactions too. And you talk about a bang play that got overturned late in that game was the ball that got deflected off of Brunson's hand that was originally called out on Indiana. And it's funny how you always see these players lobbying for calls, especially Brunson and SGA, and they're flailing and whatnot. But in that moment, you could see it on Brunson's face. Like, he knew that ball was going out of bounds off of him and that the call was blown. And just a 5,000 IQ play for Tyrese Haliburton there. I don't know if you watched it or not, but Brunson was trying so hard to get the ball from the referee. And what does Tyrese Haliburton do? He just goes and stands in between them and grabs the ball in the hands of the referee. And it was just like, he's not going to let him hand the ball to Jalen there until his coach has enough time to decide whether he's going to review it or not. It was beautiful.
It was brilliant. Also, in just a straight cold, like, gangster type moment at the end of the game, when Halliburton's inbound the ball, he just hands it to Cat with 0.2 seconds left.
Yeah. Well, and Reggie Miller was on the call, and Reggie Miller has pettiness in his blood for this for this rivalry. Yeah. And he said it. He was like, I just handed it to Cat. I just handed the ball over to Cat. He can't shoot it. It's only 0.2 seconds ago. You can only tip it. I was like, and of course, then Halliburton just like, and it was great. I hated
pettiness. I love the pettiness.
Do you feel like the choke lessened in its intensity because it went to overtime, even though they ultimately won?
Yeah,
I feel like it did lessen it a little bit.
It did. And Hallie talked about it after the game last night. He said he's not going to do it again. He was going to use it in a moment like this. I understand why in the moment he thought he did, because like he had just won the game. From all intents and purposes, he won the game. I like, that is a cold move to turn to the originator of the choke. Look at Reggie Miller do it. Like, that was the perfect moment for it. Perfect moment for it.
It was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. And they did choke. Whether or not that was the death nail or overtime was, or even if the Knicks would have won it, they choked. They absolutely choked down the stretch. And it was, I mean, I cannot do this. This is the third opponent that they've forced into this year. Yeah. Like, it's not just the Knicks' problem. And that's why you have to give so much credit to Indiana, because they got Milwaukee to do it. And then in the second round, they got Cleveland to do it. And then now in the third round in the Eastern Conference Finals, they've gotten the Knicks to do it. It's, I mean, so much praise Indiana. So much.
And at first, there was the talk, right? Like, the Bucks aren't healthy. They've lost Dame. They're not healthy. The Cavaliers weren't healthy for the majority of that season. They're getting the Knicks, like the best shot at the Knicks. So this is not like they're beating a hobbled Cleveland team or Milwaukee without Dame. They're playing the Knicks at full strength with their dudes and finding a way to win. Now, are the Knicks the more talented team? Absolutely. But they don't have the same mojo. And like you were talking about earlier, in baseball and basketball that are such rhythm sports, confidence, belief, momentum are huge. And Indiana has all of it. From the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference, Indiana has all of it.
Yeah. It's crazy to me, like, to see that people want to diminish a postseason run because of health again. Because I've went on record saying that I will not hold any team down because their opponent gets hurt. This is a long game. As a Grizzlies fan, every single postseason we talk about John Morant getting hurt. Okay? Yeah. Every single postseason, or the last two postseasons, Giannis Antetokounmpo has gotten hurt. Okay? Yeah. Damian Lillard has gotten hurt. You see it around the league, and health and longevity and durability matter more than anything in the playoffs. And to hold it against Indiana because they have stayed healthy and their opponents haven't is wild. And if you look at the breakneck pace in which Indiana plays and the tenacity they play on defense, just trying to speed everybody up, it's a recipe for a pulled hamstring. Yeah. So props to Indiana, because you will not hear me take one thing away from them because Giannis and because the Cleveland Cavaliers got banged up against them.
Yeah. And, this Indiana team plays a lot of dudes. They're the polar opposite of Tibbs. Carlisle's a guy, he's a big rotations guy. He plays, now some of his guys obviously lean heavier on his stars, but he plays a lot of minutes versus the Knicks only playing really 7 guys. And so contrasting styles, contrasting school of thoughts, but it's working for Indiana so far. Again, it's one game. It's a long series. Of the two, I think this one has the best chance to go 7 games. And we'll find out tomorrow night. But tonight, we have game 2, the Western Conference Finals, the Oklahoma City Thunder hosting the Minnesota Timberwolves. on the heels of SGA winning the MVP, the NBA MVP. Drew, this was a wild stat that I read last night. He's the first Kentucky player to ever win the NBA MVP. You think about the guys that they have put out.
Yeah.
SGA is the first to ever win it.
John Wall didn't win one?
John Wall didn't win one. Boogie Cousins didn't win one. None of these guys. It was SGA.
Pat Riley didn't win one. I'm just kidding. So, there's a laundry list of Kentucky players that have been incredible NBA players. You know, you even think like, you know, the next one that may, you know, you look at Devin Booker may have a chance in the future, you know. There's several more Kentucky players that could make a run in it, but the fact that SGA was the first one is pretty wild.
I mean, you think about the guys they put out, you know, from like even going back, like Julius Randle, you go further, you go further back, like Jamal Mashburn. Like, there's been dudes throughout the years that they put out that have had great seasons.
They're just dudes, though.
But they're just dudes. They're not the dude. And congrats to SGA. He led the NBA in scoring. And if you take away all the free throws attempts, he still leads the NBA in scoring. And he's just a mid-range assassin. There's so many videos floating around there. I won't go as far. A lot of the OKC faceless troll accounts are calling him this generation's Kobe. I'm not going to go that far yet.
Gosh. No.
But his mid-range game is impressive. The turnaround jumpers, those little floaters around the free throw line. And I have never seen somebody's ability to flop and flail and waller and still A, make shots, and B, not get hurt. So congratulations to Shea for being the flailing MVP.
You know what SGA doesn't get enough credit for is how savvy he is. And the reason why he does get a lot of calls is because the angles he takes always gets the point of attack defenders out of position. No one can stay in front of him. Does he then throw his legs and arms out like crazy? Yes. But it starts with it's not a straight up kind, like James Harden was always like straight up playing for the foul first. You can tell that SGA gets past his defenders. He gets the defender off balance. There is an art to getting to that point. And then from that point, does he milk it? Absolutely. But it's not it doesn't strike me with the same level of foolishness that James Harden did, where James Harden, Trae Young, they are obviously playing for the foul. I don't get that as much from SGA, but it is annoying to see him all arms and legs going 4 different directions every single shot he takes.
I truly think Tyrese Haliburton and the Indiana Pacers are saving us, hopefully, from a Jalen Brunson SGA flop off in the finals, because it would just be gross, because Brunson is the guy that plays for the foul first.
I will say, like, Brunson does have a bad rap too. That Pacers-Knicks game last night was physical. It was they were letting guys get away with everything down the stretch. I didn't watch much of the first half, but the second half, I was like on that last play, for instance, where Brunson airballed the shot and then it went back to Cat and he bricked it. There was Josh Hart took out 2 Pacers at the knees, diving for the ball there, and ultimately went out on him. But it was Bridges. It ended up going out on Bridges, but Hart just took out Miles Turner and took out Pascal Siakam. And I was like, no foul at all. Like, let them play. Let the kids play, you know?
I'm hoping that's a sign of things to come, because that's what's one of the most frustrating things for me about this OKC team. Because personally, I hate Oklahoma City with a passion. So hear that first.
It goes back a long way for us, you know?
Yes, it does. It goes back a long way to Steven Adams getting Zebo ejected. But I digress. I hate the Thunder. And I hate these new fans that are 12 years old that know nothing about the history of basketball. But I really enjoy the physicality they play defense with. But what's annoying is you watch that and I'm like, that's how basketball is supposed to play. And then because of SGA's savviness that you talked about earlier and the way he plays, the whistle is so tight on the other end that if like Jaden McDaniels or Nickeil Alexander-Walker were doing the same things that Caruso and Dort were doing on the other end, they would be banned from the NBA, is what it feels like, just because of how tight that whistle is, particularly for Shea. And so that's what's frustrating about the product that is the Oklahoma City Thunder. I hate them, but I respect the way they play defense, but it kind of diminishes that lot because of Shea's whistle. And again, you're right. He got like that play where he kind of stepped in between Jaden McDaniels the other night. And then when he brought his leg back, he tripped up McDaniels and they called a foul on McDaniels. That was a brilliant play by Shea to get in his space at the point of attack, get him out of position, and then initiate the contact. But it's just like the contrasting style on either end and the contrasting whistle makes me appreciate the Knicks and Pacers game more.
And to speak to a larger problem with an MVP of Shea and his reputation and the way he plays basketball is that there's probably right now not a more popular player when it comes to like, teenage basketball players and little kids growing up in AAU and watching NBA and trying to emulate NBA. That's not the guys you want to emulate. Like I see clips all the time, and I know AAU is pretty toxic anyways, and I don't think I think that's why that European players have won all the European players win a lot of MVPs right now, and American players are soft. It's because you're watching James Harden, you're watching SGA, and you're watching players in the NBA focus so much on trying to draw a foul and foul baiting and playing soft basketball. You're seeing that at the lowest levels of basketball now because they're emulating the superstars, and the superstars are just foul hunters.
Yeah. Going to the days of Bird and Jordan did it some, but like, those old Pistons teams, those old Celtics teams, those Magic Johnson Laker teams that just hooped. They were just pure basketball. And that's what you still get in these FIBA European leagues. You're absolutely right. And this is what we're going to get. We're going to get a generation of floppers that are still going to come. And
as long as it's got to be fixed by the whistle, though, you're going to have to just call the game differently and not allow it to be a thing.
Yeah. And, they said they were going to get away with flopping from a couple of years ago, and they called a couple texts for flopping, and it didn't work. So, like, what are they truly going? How are they going to police this?
I think you have to shame them. I think you put a billboard up. I think you put a billboard up of the worst flop of the week. And if you get put on the billboard, then you have like a $50,000 fine, and you have to I don't know, have your phone number put on the billboard saying, I flopped the worst this week. Here's a picture of it. Call me.
Yeah. Or, your Instagram DMs are scrolled live on television.
Oh, yeah. You're forced to have your DMs opened to the public.
Yeah. And let everybody be able to read you shooting shots.
You've got to embarrass them because they're playing weak basketball. They're weak-minded people. So you have to embarrass them. That's the perfect thing. Yeah.
So Drew, watching these four teams, these two games, we've gotten a game in each one of them. Like, to bring it back to the Grizzlies as we start to wind down the show before we talk about our weekends, like, how far are the Grizzlies away from this level of competition?
Listen, I've kind of been going back and forth on this a lot.
Hang on. D'Angelo called a foul on you, 2 free throws for SGA. And King Meeks talking about SGA's already shooting free throws for tonight's game.
That
was good.
Yeah, I mean, I have assaulted him worse than what some of those Minnesota Timberwolves assaulted him in the game on Tuesday night.
Ain't no doubt.
Listen, I've kind of been working this out in my head a little bit because, and maybe I'm just being Pollyanna Grizzlies fan, which I haven't really been all year, but you look at the players on Indiana, and I think what you look at is like Cleveland and Indiana and Detroit this year is like none of them have like just the superstar guy, but they're deep, and that's what you kind of hope that the Grizzlies can emulate. And you think you're just a veteran away, you're just this away. I believe that so much of it too is just like health and scheme, because are we really going to say that Aaron Nesmith is a plug-and-play bench player for any team in the NBA? Like, I don't know. Am I going to say that about Tim Hardaway Jr. or who's one, Ty Jerome? Is he really a good bench player on anybody else, or is it just the perfect scheme and fit?
We're gonna see the same thing with Jonathan Kuminga, because Kuminga is propped up as a great wing, but Steve Kerr doesn't see it. He literally came out today and said that he doesn't see Jonathan Kuminga playing 38 minutes on the roster they have. If I'm Kuminga, I'm immediately asking for a trade. But you're right. I think.
But if I'm a Grizzlies front office guy, I'm kind of taking Steve Kerr at his word too. Like, that diminishes Jonathan Kuminga for me. And so that's just to the greater point, or to the original point that you're trying to make here. It's like, how far away are the Grizzlies? Like, I don't know. Like, do I think that you need bench help? Yes. I absolutely think you need bench help, bench depth. But are a guy like Santi Aldama and Brandon Clark and Jalen Wells, are they good enough to do what Aaron Nesmith is doing in the right scheme? Yeah. And so I think that's what makes it so critical, this hire of Tomas this year, it makes it so critical that it's right, because
Mm-hmm.
you've got to find a way to make these bench players excel. You need help, but I don't necessarily think we're that far away. You need
Mhm.
health first. You need to have a scheme that features these guys. Aaron Nesmith is featured perfectly. Ty Jerome for the regular season was featured perfectly. He was a cast off. Aaron Nesmith got cast off at Boston. Their
Mhm.
cast offs excel everywhere, and they don't always get better, but it's like they probably get a little better, and the fit is just incredible. You've got to
Yeah.
figure out the fit.
I mean, you look at Indiana, like you said, Obi Toppin was nobody in for the Knicks. Now he is having hit 10 rebounds against the Knicks last night.
And
And
an
it's-
amazing game-sealing double clutch dunk. Like,
It's awesome. And so it's all about the right players. I think that our core three we haven't been healthy at the same time. Our core three, I think, is competitive with a lot of these cores. Now, we still need a few role players. We need a guy who can be that dependable three-point shooter. It's been Desmond Bane in the past, but I still would like a wing beside him that can do that. We need a guy that can be that defensive lockdown. It's Jalen Wells, but he's still a few years away. If you can combine that in a guy like we've talked about Herb Jones, if you can package something to go get Cam Johnson, like some of those guys feels like system guys that would fit here in Memphis, which is where I'm leaning more towards than we need to go move. I saw somebody talk about today moving Desmond Bane for Paul George, which to me just feels like a literal swap. Like it's like if you look at their numbers, their percentage are the same. Yeah, I mean that's it. It's literally the same. For me, we got to find that Obi Toppin, that Aaron Nesmith for our team. Like those are the guys we've got to find for our team. Those wings who do the glue things that the Grizzlies need, which is perimeter defense and perimeter shooting. We've got we've got Jaren who can score. We've got a dynamic point guard who can facilitate and score. We need somebody that we can count on the wing.
And one other thing, you need an absolute dog. The style of play, the tenacity in which you play with. You're looking at, and I know this is the Eastern and Western Conference Finals now, so everybody's giving it 100%. But these teams have given it 100% all year long. Yeah. All year long. You know, SGA is not sitting out back-to-backs. He's not, you know, there's just so much. You've got to take pride in the amount of effort that you put in every single game. It's easy to do at the Western Conference Final and the Eastern Conference Finals, but to get to that point, you have to do it for a whole season. And you know what? One thing I saw, and I think the perfect person to look at for this conversation is what Alex Caruso has become for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I saw an interview that he was on, the old man in the three or the young man in three, whatever they're talking about now. And he was talking about like his time with the Oklahoma City Blue. He was drafted by Oklahoma City. He spent time in the G League before he just got cast off there and went to LA and had his career. And he said the mindset is so important for a kid that's developing, and you see it pay off for him. And this was his mindset. He said, I went to the Oklahoma City Blue, and a lot of people go into the G League thinking that the G League and the big league front offices are looking for a superstar, but they're looking for a janitor. They are looking for somebody who can clean up the messes and do everything right and be dependable. You're not looking for a superstar in the G League. So if you go to the G League and you get drafted, everybody gets drafted and then they go to the G League and they think it's a demerit. So like, it's not if you change the way your mindset works. You do not go to the G League thinking like, I'm going to develop into a superstar first. First, you've got to develop into a role player that's trusted to be put on a big league roster. And you do that by bringing 150% intensity and giving everything you've got and doing the little things well. That's how you get on a big league roster. That's how Alex Caruso got onto the Lakers. And then he went from the Lakers to the Bulls to what he is now, the Thunder, by adding to that once you get to the NBA.
And it's so frustrating because we've had that in one Tony Allen. Like we've seen that in Beale Street Blue. And so those guys are out there, right? For all his flaws, Taylor Jenkins was right about one thing. You earn a spot on the roster through defensive effort. And if you can go out there and give that kind of effort, like you said, night in and night out, because that's been the biggest complaint that we both have had about this Grizzlies team is within the first 5 minutes how a game's going to go. It's so frustrating to like stay up till 9 o'clock at night, only to 5 minutes into the game, just be like, dang, I stayed up past my bedtime and we ain't even trying. Like we've seen that so many times that we need that, as we've said, adult in the room, be it a vet wing, a vet center, like whatever that looks like, or maybe it's Tomas. They can call a timeout, call the huddle, whatever, and get in these guys' faces to get that effort. I think that's what we were missing from being in the place where these 4 teams are.
Yeah, it's less about it is a little about roster construction, but it's about mindset of this team. You've got I was listening to a rant somebody's going on Paul George's podcast, and he was basically ranting about Paul George to Paul George. And he's like, the reason why Philly loves Allen Iverson, he didn't win nothing, but he gave everything. You know, that's what we want. Like, and obviously I don't want to not win anything, but I want to start with giving everything. That's a base minimum. Give it all.
I mean, that's it. I've got a flag in my room that I see everyone when I wake up. It says, give a damn. And I want to take that and go put it in the locker room downstairs at FedEx Forum. So the guys see that before every game and they go out there and they have that care factor. That's why we love Mike and Mark and Zebo. Maybe Mark's a bad example, but Mike and Zebo and Tony.
Mark cared more than anybody. Yeah.
He did. Like Mark's more frustration was he was so passive on offense. The effort was there, but he was a fiery competitor.
It was the style of play
right.
he preferred.
But we love those 4 dudes, and their jerseys are going to be in the rafters, and they didn't win a daggum thing, but they cared, and they embodied the city. And that's just like, I can talk about that for an hour as we're winding up here, but that's what we're missing from this team. And that's what we need to find this offseason more than anything else is somebody who gives a damn. And with that, we're going to talk about our weekends before we talk again.
Rusty, we're the 2 Bucks. This is our 3rd segment of our Thursday edition. You can catch us every single Tuesday and Thursday at noon right here on Bluff City Media's YouTube page. Hop in the comments. D'Angelo, King Meeks, they've been just throwing haymakers at each other in that last segment, talking about future Grizzlies and who they would take, including King Meeks. He says he would not move Paul George for Luke. I'm assuming Hatmaker.
Kennard or Hatmaker?
Which I would not trade Paul George for Luke Hatmaker either. Okay.
No, not at all.
Luke Hatmaker, Daily Grind every morning at 7:30 on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. This is our 3rd segment. This is how we start our Tuesday shows with our best and beef. It's the best thing that happened to us in the past weekend. We end the week on Thursdays with what we're looking forward to going into the upcoming weekend. Yep. So Rusty, before we talk again, what's going on?
Yeah, so it's not a crazy busy weekend. I've got some work stuff going on. Mama's got another doctor's appointment tomorrow in Birmingham, so T's and P's for Mama Lee. I can't go. I got to fill in at a clinic. But Saturday is Mimi, my grandmother, my dad's mom. It's her birthday. My dad's birthday was Tuesday. Mimi's is Saturday, so Maggie and I are going to go over on Saturday and see them and hang out, have some lunch, hang out with Pops and Mimi. She's celebrating her 29th birthday once again. She's been 29 my entire life. Which is
so she's kudos to her. 67, right?
So kudos to her for being 29 once again. And then God bless Maggie. She's got to work overnight again Sunday night, and so I'll be watching her pups on Sunday as she's in the pharmacy again. Again, talking about T's and P's. When for Maggie overnight that they get her alarm system rigged up because that's what kept her in the pharmacy last time. I don't want to have her to be doing calisthenics in the pharmacy from 2 to 8 a.m. again. Like, let's get this alarm hooked up, get her out at a reasonable time.
This is a Fortune 500 company, people. Let's
figure it out. Let's act like it. Like, figure it out. We're literally hooking up an alarm. ADT, whoever you use, figure it out. But we're gonna have like some fun with Mimi and them, and then Sunday will be a very relaxing day before she works. So, how about y'all? What y'all got going on this weekend?
Well, it's a long weekend. Which is always nice. The kids' last day of school is today. I believe I just heard them walk in the door. It was a 60% day for the kids, so they got home like 10 minutes ago. I heard them rustling around upstairs. Haley goes tomorrow for part of a day, if not a whole day. But then it's summer break and no work on Monday because it's Memorial Day. So the wife and I are going out of town. We have not gone out of town together. We did a one-night Nate Bargatze show last year in Memphis, but we have not done a weekend away since right after Jenny was born. My daughter, who's 3, we went to St. Louis for a ball game. Yeah. So I surprised her. We're going glamping, which sounds very prissy because we are rugged outdoor folks. But this is camping is relaxing, but not when you're only going for 3 nights. It's too much work for 3 nights.
It's
so
tough.
We're going outside Scottsboro, Alabama, into Gunnersville, Alabama, up into the woods.
Yeah.
Into a it's called Retreat. Retreat spelled with 2 E's. Treat.
I like it. I like it.
So we have a tent, but it is a tent built on a deck with a metal roof over it with doors and windows and AC and a TV and stuff. But it's got a hot tub too. So here we go.
Here we go.
So me and the mama are getting away for a much, much, much needed mom and dad trip. T's and P's to my dad because we scheduled this thing. And my mom did not tell us. I asked when my mom was going to be out of town, give me all the dates. So I'm going to schedule around it because I'm going to need the grandparents involved in the weekend away. We've got 4 kids. My mom did not tell me she was going to be out of town this weekend. So my mother-in-law could not do it tomorrow night either. So it looks like my dad is lone wolfing it with 4 kids.
Shout out Andy.
Friday night. And listen, if any of you guys have a big heart and want to help the needy, come to Casa, Mississippi and help my dad. I trust you. He's going to need it. I don't know how much I'll be able to relax until the mother-in-law comes and gets those kids on Saturday morning.
Look, King Minks is off on Sunday. I think that's him volunteering to help out on Sunday. So just shoot King Minks an address and he'll be there. But that's going to do it for our show this week. Thanks for hanging out with us Tuesday, Thursday. If y'all are still here in the comments, first of all, why? Second of all, thank you. Appreciate y'all hanging with us. Give us a like, subscribe, turn those notifications on. We are Bluff City Media's lunch show at 12 noon for now. Tuesdays and Thursdays for now. So stay tuned for some big changes coming for the 2 Bucks. But as for today, Uncle Buck.
Brian Windhorst.
Yeah. Be a friend to somebody who needs a friend. And unfortunately for King Meeks and D'Angelo especially, who were warring it out in our comments, there are no refunds for what you heard today.
That's right, because with the 2 Buck Sports Show, you always get what you pay for, and I will pay you to come help my dad babysit the kids.
Thank you for listening to the 2 Buck Sports Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. For comprehensive coverage of all things Memphis sports, head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co and find out how you can become an insider. We will see you back here next time.